etc. And I asked him, would you prefer a woman that was more promiscuous or a girl that's less promiscuous? Almost all of them are going to say less.
Worldwide, majority, yes. I would give you that. Yeah. What are you mad about? I just said, yeah. If you're talking about worldwide, what would you like me to say, Myron?
All right, man. We can move on because you're not making no sense now.
I feel like I just conceded the point he wanted me to concede.
Yeah,
okay. If I have to be, I thought you'd be able to, Jesus.
I just said yeah.
No,
but think higher value.
Guys try to get women up here.
I try to find the best
Women date higher than always shoot their shot.
Yes. If you're talking about men date higher than themselves on attraction, it depends what trait you're selecting for.
This is crazy.
Where's your lawyer?
Where's my lawyer?
Yeah.
Where's your
what
lawyer?
Is that? I'm my own lawyer.
No. You said you date. Oh, lawyers date lawyers. But where's yours?
I'm talking to one right now. He's watching.
Does he look like that? I'm worried for him.
He's doomed. All right.
Leave your number, bro.
Yeah. Delete the number.
So you think he's only talking to you?
I don't care I don't have that expectation of him. At all. I'm not like, are you only talking to me? Unless
But here's the thing though. Here's the difference. You want to date a lawyer. He can go fuck a girl that isn't a lawyer or date a girl that isn't a lawyer. That's the point.
What do you mean? What's the point?
What I'm saying is that he'll talk to you.
Yeah.
You're a lawyer. Fantastic. You want a lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
But he's capable of dating a girl that isn't a lawyer and being okay with it.
But I can talk to 200 lawyers if I want. I know a lot of lawyers. That's what I mean.
But your threshold starts at lawyer.
Yeah, but I'm around other lawyers all the time. I know a lot of educated men. How many men am I supposed to have?
Lawyers are
I know you said I'm Destiny's whatever, but just like Destiny said, you're lowering your ability by saying...
You're missing the main point that he is not constricted to women within his own socioeconomic demographic.
But
you can date a girl.
But a lot of them, they don't though. They don't date women at McDonald's. Lawyers do not. Let me tell you guys this all right once and for all. With
you
lawyers,
are not a nigga.
Do not.
Listen. You are not a nigga. They will tell you one thing because listen.
I don't know how to speak like this.
Pause. These niggas aren't stupid, right? They're lawyers, right? So they know what you like. So yeah, baby, you know what it is. I date, girls.
They don't talk like this.
Listen.
You guys are just not lawyers. Like
the top 2%.
But you are fucking them though. That's the point.
What do you mean I'm not fucking them?
You said earlier.
This is the thing. Like I said, I come from a family of lawyers. I went to school. They don't talk like you guys. They don't behave like you guys. They don't think like you guys. Now, again, lawyers, that's maybe a special group. That's fine. Them. What do you mean I don't fuck them? I don't fuck you guys either. I definitely don't fuck you guys.
You know what's crazy? Your same lawyer speech about lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends that are lawyers. You know what they do? They act professional in public. But when it's late night,
I think that's
in the club fucking 18-year-olds.
Yeah,
20-year-olds.
I think you're missing the overall concept that guy that you're talking to that's a lawyer has more options in the open dating marketplace than you do.
I don't need billions of options.
Please stop interrupting me.
Okay.
I'm simply saying that this lawyer that you said that you're talking to has more options in the open sexual marketplace because he isn't constricted to women within his own socioeconomic level like you are. So it's cool. He's talking to you, but what I'm saying is that he's not restricted like you are to a certain demographic and class of man.
I don't need the most billions of it's just like if someone was like, okay, if you're willing to date somebody with a low IQ, then you have more options. If you're willing to date someone that's a meth head, you have more options.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But both men and women aren't looking for as much options as possible. A lot of people want someone they actually like.
Well, what's your name again? Sorry.
Jasmine.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm gonna call you from now on Bad Faith Jasmine.
Yeah, I think
excellent, very clever.
I think the main point here, the takeaway is simply that he has more options because he isn't constricted like you are. You are far more selective because you are a female, rightfully so. He is a male, so therefore he's okay with dating across and even below social hierarchies. Versus for you, it's got to be bare minimum across or above.
Yeah, but I have more options bare minimum across because they all like me. That's what I'm saying. Like lawyers, a lot. I have my pick of a lot of lawyers. What I'm saying.
Fantastic. You have your pick of men that will have sex with you. But how many of those men are going to put a ring on you?
I don't even want a ring, but quite a few.
No. Nice cope. The point is how many of these men?
I told you right.
How many of these men that are lawyers that have this title, etc., are going to put a ring on it? I would argue a minority of them.
No, but like I said, lawyers marry other lawyers for the look it up. Lawyers.
But you're not a lawyer right now.
Yes, I am. I'm a licensed attorney.
But you're a porn star.
But they think that's cool. They think that's like because
hold on. You said it. It's cool. but not for long term.
No, you're saying that. You're saying that.
Yo,
Listen, I've seen your Instagram, right?
Man.
Guys will fuck you.
Yo, bad faith, Jasmine, the delusional Jasmine. Holy, like,
can you
really?
do a good
I am
one?
telling you.
I want a better nickname.
Jasmine, you know what the fuck you're talking about.
No,
because
Bruh.
your Instagram is
Yeah,
straight
I know
up
you don't like my
304.
Instagram because
No,
I'm
no,
not used to being
I
on
like
Instagram.
it. Hey, don't worry. I like it. But I mean,
Chris, you should have that.
Look,
Chris,
I'm an anomaly because I'm still a
Listen.
lawyer, and a lot of
Listen,
other lawyers think what I did was awesome.
Myron,
Look,
then I want to show you.
men will say and do a lot of things for sexual access to include making a woman feel better about her ego investments, even though they're contradictory to the male sexual vetting process. Let me explain.
But it's not contradictory to male sexual vetting process. I just told you lifetime partners or promiscuity doesn't affect likelihood of marriage.
Men don't like women that are hoes or have an image of being hoes.
Some
so
men.
even though you might not necessarily be promiscuous, your job title, the way you present yourself, etc., creates an aura that you might be and or are promiscuous.
Yes.
She is.
And
Myron.
here's the other thing too. A man, a lot of the times, because you're saying, I have all these options that are lawyers, etc. Cool. They'll go on dates with you. They'll talk with you. They'll even debate you at dinner. But will they actually get down on one knee and propose to you and marry you? I would argue a majority of them probably won't, because as a lawyer, your image matters. Bringing your girl around in functions matters. And here's the thing. No one's going to know you by being a lawyer and your JD. They're going to know you for being on OnlyFans. And that's going to hurt that man's status. A woman's past
about the girl at
absolutely-
CVS?
Stop interrupting. A woman's background absolutely hurts her man's status if she has a promiscuous background. What are you saying about CVS? Hold on, let her say her point. What are you saying?
What about the woman at CVS that you say that people goes for that?
That's definitely going to hurt their
What about
image.
is what you're saying?
That's definitely going to
Because
hurt their
here's the thing: a man can get with a girl that has nothing and elevate her status.
Not lawyers don't do this.
What about if they're dumb? Like you're
We're
saying,
not talking
like,
about. Okay, you want to use lawyers as an example. Fantastic, cool. You want to use lawyers. I'm saying in general, men that are higher earning, men that have status, etc., are okay a lot of the times getting with a woman that has less status than themselves because men don't care about a woman's status. They're going
As
to
long as
elevate
they
them.
look good, that's all.
There's
Can
a
I
reason
ask a
why.
question?
There's a reason why a king will marry a peasant and turn her into a queen, but it never works the other way
When is
around.
this? We're in 2023. So we're kings
I'm
and
just
peasants.
using that as an analogy.
Okay, can I ask you a question? So you're right. There are some men that wouldn't be okay with this. I didn't like those men before. I don't like them now. Like I said,
majority of men wouldn't
two
be okay
years
with
ago,
it.
I didn't have an Instagram.
A
The
majority of
one
men would not
man
be
was
okay
like,
with
oh,
it.
I like that. I stopped talking to him. My question for you is, yes,
a
some
majority would not be.
some men don't like this. Agree. Okay.
A majority.
Now, I would also say that you, by getting on a podcast 12 hours
Sure.
a week talking about how women are inferior, a lot of women, you're lowering your ability to get women too. A lot of women don't want anything to do with that. That's embarrassing to a lot of women. I'm not trying to insult you, but I'm saying, but you're saying, oh, I still have a happy life. I don't care. There's plenty of women who are okay with it. I'm saying there are plenty of men who are okay with this too.
No, because here's the thing. My podcast, right? So some girls might not like my views or whatever it may be, but here's the thing. Men don't derive status necessarily from their ability to be attractive to women.
I
Here's
thought
the
you
thing.
said they do. Men
No.
don't derive status.
No. Men derive their status from creating change in the world. Men are defined by their profession and how they impact the world. Okay? They're not defined by their ability to attract the opposite gender. That's a woman's value. There's a reason why a woman takes a man's last name and not the other way around. A woman's status typically is tied to the value and caliber of man that she can attract and most importantly retain for a long-term relationship. As a man, my job is to go out there, be successful, change the world, and a byproduct is women will find me attractive and I pick the best one. That isn't a whore. Or not going to embarrass me.
This is what I'm saying. Some women that are very attractive that you want nothing to do with you because they think you're insane. That's fine. And some women don't. I'm saying the same thing. There are some men who want nothing to do with me because I'm on OnlyFans and some do. You can find a woman that's going to be okay with all this, but some women that are very attractive that women may otherwise have been attracted to you might think that this is fucking abominable. And so I'm saying
no, it's not. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
What is the number one marker for attraction for a man? Status.
Financial security. Actually.
And so financial security, which is intimately tied to status,
Yes.
right? Now, with a woman,
It's physical attractiveness.
it's physical attractiveness and chastity.
It's not. In 2020, there's no stats that say that. If that was the case, then it would affect your likelihood of marriage.
Let's just use common sense.
No, I don't want to use because your common sense.
Hold on. No, because you're making arguments in bad faith and you're trying to say that I can attract all these lawyers, etc. If there are two versions of you, there's a version that you have right now, and then a version of you where you aren't on OnlyFans and you have a body count of 0. I guarantee you the men would go ahead and prefer the body count of 0 version of you versus the version of you now.
Some and some would. I'm just telling you the truth.
For a long-term relationship and a marriage,
there are some men that are open relationships. There are some men that like literally this is your defined, narrow, distorted view of masculinity and men is not widespread. You talk about critical thinking skills. Using a little and making broad generalizations about everyone is not critical thinking. This is not how that works.
I want everyone in here to answer the question after we show this. So let's just describe this in a nutshell. You're saying lawyers will still date you knowing you do OnlyFans, right?
Some lawyers, the ones that are more liberal. Now academia leans left and lawyers are generally more liberal.
To events, take you out to family. Chris, bring it up.
Liberal men aren't attractive.
They are to me.
Chris.
Really?
Yeah.
You want a guy that's going to sit there and be equal to you when someone breaks in, hey, babe, it's your time to deal with the burglars this time. No.
This apocalyptic fantasy you have.
Guys.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, what lawyer is going to bring her out in public and actually say, this is my girlfriend, my wife? Please tell me.
There are lawyers that will, but that's only because I'm an anomaly because I'm also a lawyer. So if I'm at these events, I know how to talk. I know, like, if it was a random girl.
What does she do for a living? Oh, well.
Okay, let me tell you something. Okay, for instance, like, subscribe to my OnlyFans.
You can't argue this.
Wait, let's play the audio on this. It's a good one.
No.
You can't argue this.
Like, tell me, what the fuck you doing?
I mean, again, this is another example of just arguing in bad faith. If you can't even concede that men in general prefer women, a majority of men.
No.
Holy shit.
If that was the case, that would be shown in the stats.
A majority of men prefer women to have less sexual partners.
Majority of your viewers.
Majority of men.
No.
And it's been this way since the beginning of time. Why does a woman
did Thor care about this? Did the Vikings care about this? The ancient Egyptians care about it? What do you mean the beginning of time?
Yes.
Such a bizarre statement. Scientists don't talk like this.
Virgins.
Yeah, but he just said since the beginning of time. I'm saying there's plenty of like Thor didn't give a fuck about your virginity.
Who's Thor?
The Viking god, the Viking king, like the Viking Odin, Thor. Do you guys only think there's
mythology?
It's not mythology. It's the old gods. You guys talk about since the beginning of time, but you don't know the Vikings were here in since the beginning of time.
Look, whether it's Islam, Christianity, etc.
These are newer religions. You said the beginning of time, did you not? So can you rephrase it?
Look. In the civilized world, since the beginning of civilized time.
Okay. At least I've moved you a little bit.
Right? Men have preferred women that had lower body counts and women that were virgins. There's a reason why a girl would walk down the aisle in a white dress across different cultures. Why? Because it symbolizes chastity and purity. Men have a very strong interest in a woman's chastity. Okay. Now, with that said, they don't.
In 2023, it's becoming less and less the case. Like I said, we're evolving. Times are changing.
Just because it's becoming less and less the case does not mean that men still don't prefer it.
I would say the majority have now shifted, right? Because majority of men are. I'm sorry, the majority of men are not like, oh, I want a virgin. I'm sorry, this is just not true. I don't think it's true.
If they could get it,
it's not.
They would still prefer if they can get it.
It's not established through the data.
Okay, and
they don't want someone with experience. What about throat go? Yeah. Like you want the virgin, or do you want the
No, you're right. Seriously, for a fun time, awesome. But for wifey, nah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like ladies, I know that this might. You guys, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but like you do realize that when men meet you, they put you in one of two categories: fun only or commitment. Yeah. Fun only or commitment. So you're trying to conflate the two and say a lot of lawyers would date me and blah blah blah, but that does not mean that they would take you seriously and get down on one knee.
Well, we have no way. First of all, I don't like men who even want to like propose on one. Like I just don't like these kind of men.
Well, you want monogamy, right?
Maybe, yeah, but like
so that means would it give you monogamy? No.
Yeah, they would. I promise you, they would. Now this is now unfalsifiable, right? So there's no point in because you guys are gonna say, oh, I'm gonna say yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be battle of anecdotes. I probably say I'm more qualified here because I know more lawyers, but okay.
Yeah, but you're using you're basically saying, oh yeah, lawyers would date me, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying
they wouldn't marry me, but how do you know? And I don't know and you don't know because I haven't been proposed to, actually.
Because men have a serious stake in a woman's background and
are you pressure fit? Can I explain something to you? So when you use this thing of like, oh, I'm single, what you have to do is you have to isolate the variable and look at people who are married and look at people who get, and you have to isolate and see that this is going to be more likely. So for instance, a lot of the things you guys say may increase your likelihood of divorce. Age gaps increase your likelihood of divorce by a lot. If you guys have a 10-year age gap, that increases your likelihood of divorce by 40%. Yeah, you guys always talk about liking younger women, not being college educated. A woman between 25 and 32 is less likely to divorce.
We never said don't be college educated. We just said it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it does, especially if you're looking at likelihood of divorce, and especially if you're looking at
So it
childhood
doesn't matter
outcomes.
when it comes to like men being attracted. Like no one cares about a woman's degree or her background, her education.
To be physically attracted, yes, but to get married to, you'd be very smart. Not only just to care about that because of divorce outcomes, but because your childhood success and childhood cognitive development is highly
valuable. You're moving the goalposts. All I'm simply saying is that men in general do not want women that either are promiscuous or create an aura of promiscuity.
Some men.
As their main girl.
Some men.
You want to ask the chat?
No, your chat is like, this is not, do you think this is a scientific, like actual
It's not about that, but it's a very...
Do you think there's a selection bias here? Do you think there's a selection bias here?
You got 20,000 men in here from different parts of the world. Yeah. You're really trying to sit here and argue with me that men don't prefer women that have lower body counts.
Like I said, I asked every single person I know about the show, and people thought that you guys was about vegetables. No men that I know have heard of this. Now I have a selection.
Do you think men are going? Hold on, bro. Use a little bit of common sense. Do you think men are actually going to be honest and tell you that they prefer a woman that isn't involved in sex work? That isn't.
I didn't say they prefer.
No.
Yeah.
Hold on. Do you really think that they're going to sit there and be honest and say, I prefer a woman that isn't on OnlyFans, isn't promiscuous, blah, blah, blah. You really think they're going to tell you that? I'm
not talking about men. And look, like I said, a year ago, I didn't have any of this. I didn't even have an Instagram, and they wouldn't even tell me then. I think like a couple years ago, I was exactly this very nice low body count. I might have been too educated for your liking. That may have been an impediment. And my prefrontal cortex might have been a bit too developed because I was 26 and not like 18. But at the same time, what I'm trying to say is that there are men who just don't care. Like they're trying to fuck you.
Yeah.
Now it's an unfalsifiable claim, so there's no point in arguing on something unfalsifiable.
Like, I mean, you can't even concede on certain points, such as like men prefer women that don't have a promiscuous
some men.
past.
I said some men.
No, majority.
I don't think it's majority, and you have no evidence for that other than your anecdotes.
You are married.
That's not a lot of people because I'm not married.
Guys,
like I said, isolate the things that make people more likely to get married and not. Body count is not one of them, and I don't know. There's been no studies on.
No, because you're annoying.
That's okay. There we go. Great, riveting claim.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. Sorry, I mean, if you can't even admit that men don't want women that are promiscuous, then I
said some men.
Majority don't.
Well, you're not.
And this has been across different religion, different time, different cultures.
Are you religious?
I'm not, but I'm telling you, I'm using it as an example.
Yes, but I'm not saying it's not been I just said I can give you many examples in beginning of time. Now, if you want to move it finally, because I've always been annoyed that you keep saying beginning of time because that's not true. But if you want to say however many years ago, pick your year. And now it's changing. It's not as virginity.
You're stepping over dollars to pick up quarters. You're missing the main points here.
What?
Men don't want hoes. Period.
And
especially for long-term relationships.
And your claim is most. I'm saying some. That's where we disagree. And you have no evidence for most other than your common sense and your anecdotes.
They'd never be able to pull a study like this off and ask men this and without do you think that would actually get funded?
No, we know.
Do you think it would actually get funded if they said, all right, guys, we're going to do a poll. Tell us if you like hoes. You really think
they probably would do a thing like how much does sexual purity mean to you, and they would do ranking. They would probably do something like that. All I can tell you though is that the study we do have shows that body count doesn't affect likelihood of marriage. That's the only one we have.
Anything from anything.
Yeah. Incredible.
If a man wants you, he wants you, no matter what your body count is.
Yeah, that's what, and the stats show that.
For sex only.
No, for marriage. That's what the stats show.
They put you in a category.
All right, so
then why does it not affect your likelihood of getting married? That's what the stats show. Look it up.
For marriages are down too.
What do you mean marriages?
like you're saying.
So you're saying these men just want to get married, but everyone has too high of a body count.
You said for what? Because you're saying, it doesn't affect your ability to get married. But what I'm saying is that the picture is way bigger than that. Marriages have been dropping off precipitously since feminism.
And I would say it's not that aspect of feminism.
And it's because that's
where we disagree.
That's one aspect. That's one aspect. But women are less marriageable than they were before.
And 1 in 5 women don't even want to get married. So
because
they just
of feminism.
Don't want. So okay, but that means
a majority still do.
So, but that's not.
A vast majority still do.
But the ones that do, that have a high body count, are just as likely. That's what I'm saying to get married as the ones that don't. Yeah, that's what the stats show.
They might not.
The panel is not science. You guys talk about science.
Are they going to get married to a man that they actually want though?
How do we? All I'm saying that was okay. So now you're adding this. That wasn't in the study. So if Myron says it, maybe now it's science. But you guys talk about science and logic. There are rules to science and there are rules to logic. If you want to say shit, that's fine. But when you're talking about logic and science, then we have to talk about logic and science. If you're saying claims that are unfalsifiable, well, they're just lying. Everyone's lying. The study's not ruled. The study's not funded. Okay, fine. Then I have nothing.
It's not about that because you're saying there's no data on this. But I'm saying, okay, well, realistically speaking, are they going to be able to run a study like that?
That's not how science. That's not how people with critical thinking
skills. This is misogynistic. They would never allow it.
That's not how critical thinking skills cycles work. So you're saying the study couldn't happen? So that's why. So now we just go with what you think versus what I think. Then it just becomes battle of the anecdotes.
I mean, you can't even agree.
Then it's just feminine.
You don't even agree on common sense that a majority of men would prefer to not be with a woman who's promiscuous.
No,
you can't even concede on a simple fact like that.
Is that an axiomatic fact? That's an axiomatic fact.
If I lined up 100 men from different groups in different parts of the world, different racial demographics,
different parts of the world, yes. Okay, all right, I'll give you that.
Talking about.
No, but in the West, I live in the West and I live in the United States, so I wasn't talking about Zimbabwe, but okay.
Okay. Again, speaking from a holistic, worldly standpoint.
I'm not.
There's a reason why I said since the beginning of time and I reference different religions and cultures. Obviously, I'm speaking on a worldly basis.
But it's not beginning
here.
Of time.
Okay?
The Vikings didn't care. The ancient Egyptians didn't care.
Stop stepping over dollars to pick up quarters. The point I'm trying to bring here is that if I line up 100 men from different religions, different backgrounds, different racial, different ages, different socioeconomic status, etc., and I asked them, would you prefer a woman that was more promiscuous or a girl that's less promiscuous? Almost all of them are going to say less.
Worldwide, majority, yes. I would give you that. Yeah. What are you mad about? I just said, yeah. If you're talking about worldwide, what would you like me to say, Myra?
All right, we can move on because you're not making no sense now.
I feel like I just conceded the point you wanted me to concede.
Yeah,
okay. If I have to be, I thought you'd be able to, Jesus.
I just said, yeah. If you look at the worldwide, the majority of men, if you lined up the majority of men.
That's implied. If I'm talking about different religions, cultures, beginning of time, etc., like clearly I'm not just talking about the United States or the Western world. I'm talking about everybody.
Well, okay, then that was my mistake. That was my mistake
because for 30 minutes.
That was my mistake because I was thinking that we're talking about men like we're on a show in English. In the Western world, I don't think.
And I even mentioned, there's a bunch of clues that I was obviously referring to the entire world. I even said, we got people from different countries. We can do a poll because we got people
Everyone's
from
talking in English. I haven't seen any Arabic. I haven't seen any.
That doesn't change the fact that they might be from a different country.
Okay, so we're talking about English-speaking people now, because then I might change my mind.
Do you think a guy rather have you as his first or his 50th?
What?
Do you think a guy rather be with you that you're his first or you're